All right, so we have some partial good news when it comes to book bans, which is not something you normally hear, is book bans and good news, partial or otherwise. But we do have some. So, U.S. Appeals Court rules some books to be restored to Texas library shelves, which is great because I'm sure a lot of those books that were taken out are basically people who just find certain subjects unappealing. So, of course, if they find it unappealing, the world must find it unappealing because they are the main character. Anyway, so a federal appeals court panel on Thursday ordered that 8 of 17 books that had been removed from a Texas library's shelves over conservatives' complaints that they were inappropriate must be returned. So, right off the bat, that's almost half, so that's good. Good to hear. The New Orleans-based Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals panel said in a 2-1 ruling that partially upheld a lower court's injunction that the library in the small town of Llano had infringed on defendants' First Amendment rights to information by removing some of the books. All right. And yeah, it is because again, you don't like a book, don't check it out. Don't read it. But don't tell other people. And this is from a party that claims to be the party of personal responsibility. Is this a party of personal responsibility if you're telling other people how to live their lives? 9 of the books, however, can remain off the library shelves pending the final outcome of the appeal, because one judge found they were not removed because of any ideas or viewpoints they contained, but because they were focused on juvenile flatulent humor. Are you kidding me? We are now banning books because they have toilet humor? Seriously. What the hell? That's a rite of passage for kids and some never grow up. Some still like such humor. Watch Stephen Colbert. How many times does he do that? Really? Exactly. How is this inappropriate? Everybody has their own humor. Some people like racist jokes. I'm sure that nobody has a problem with, people who have a problem with that. Fine. Yeah, that just definitely says something about you if you like such jokes. But they should be allowed to like it. So, what is it about this humor that people aren't allowed to read? Government actors may not remove books from a public library with the intent to deprive patrons of access to ideas which they may disagree. Judge Jacques Wiener, I did read that correctly, correct, wrote in the majority opinion. Okay, they can't be removed to deprive people of access to ideas, but juvenile bathroom humor, that can be deprived. I'm sorry, what? There's a lot of things I don't like about such humor. Would I ever say that other people can't read it? No. Why? Because it's not my humor. You want to find that funny? That's on you. I fail to see why those would be a problem. Among the books ordered returned to the library shelves are Caste, The Origins of Our Discontent by Pulitzer Prize winning author Isabel Wilkerson, and they called themselves the KKK, The Birth of an American Terrorist Group by Susan Campbell Bartoletti. A book about a transgender teenager was also among the 8 books ordered to remain on library shelves. So great. So now we have 2 books on one on castes, one on racism, because KKK, hate groups, and a trans book that we know for a fact were put back on shelves, which is great. I'm sure that people are going to keep trying to keep those books off the shelves. Now, I'm really curious why Caste, The Origins of Our Discontent was considered a no-no. But, who knows? I understand why they call themselves the KKK would be taken off, because racism, we can't know that, the KKK isn't actually a terrorist group. Oh no, we can't do that at all. And of course, a book about trans people. Yeah, that's an obvious one that's a huge target right now. Judge Leslie Southwick concurred with Weiner that officials cannot remove books from library shelves simply because they dislike the ideas contained within them. Exactly. I still remember, and I know I've said it before on this channel, I still remember this one patron who, I think it was the Protocol of the Elders of Zion that he wanted to look at. There might have been a different book. Might have been something more racist than anti-Semitic, but I can't remember now. But famous book, but it's not coming to me at the moment. And I wanted to scream, no, you do not want to check this book out. Why? Because it says things that are going to be against you just simply because of the color of your skin. But I didn't, because the man can read it and figure it out for himself. And yeah, I just let it go. Because even though I don't like the ideas in the book, doesn't mean other people won't. Or maybe he's just doing research, trying to find out how these lowlifes think. And he wanted to read because of that. Again, not my position to tell someone that whether they do or do not want to read a book, because I'm not the one reading it. But Southwick wrote that he differed with Weiner in the law's application. Southwick ruled that 9 of the books could remain off library shelves pending final outcome of the lawsuit over their removal, because he did not think they were removed because of any ideas within them. No, because of humor, which again is also should be protected, because not everybody shares the same humor. And it doesn't hurt anybody. Like I mentioned, even people who like racist jokes, fine. As long as it doesn't lead to you doing anything violent. I mean, I just don't see the point. You like that humor? Great. I'll just slowly walk away from you and not want to deal with you depending on your humor. But that's still your humor. So, I had a friend who was bemoaning that now that he's thoroughly progressive, that he doesn't find jokes funny anymore. And I said, no, you find different jokes funny. Yeah, you don't like the jokes that you used to find funny anymore because you've outgrown them. But that doesn't mean that you didn't replace it with other humor. because I find plenty of things funny, just not the things that I might have used to when I was a kid. Because you grow up, you change. All right. Viewpoints and ideas are few in number in a book titled Gary the Goose and His Gas on the Loose. Only juvenile flatulent humor. Again, what's wrong with that? Not my cup of tea, but what books are not necessarily just about conveying ideas. There's a book out there that's just flatulent humor, toilet humor. I see no problem with it. If people want to read that, go for it. Southwick wrote in the concurring opinion, referring to one of the books that can remain off library shelves. The third judge on the panel, Stuart Duncan, said in a dissent that none of the books should be ordered to be returned to the library shelves. Oh, I'm sure that this is going to be a great and well thought out reasoning. Llano, with a population of about 22,000 and located about 60 miles northwest of Austin, has been a flashpoint in a battle over books in libraries across the U.S. in recent years. So they're not going to tell us this guy's reasoning. That sucks. I wanted to hear his dissenting opinion. Republican lawmakers in Texas and several other conservative states have pushed for the removal of books from library shelves, volumes they say are inappropriate for children and that mostly involve LGBTQ and race issues. I can't imagine why those two. Again, it's amazing how this supposed party of personal responsibility seems to think that it's perfectly okay, and parents' rights should somehow think that because I don't like something, nobody should be able to have access to it. That's not how personal responsibility works. That's not how parents' rights work. If you as a parent don't want your kid to read something, that might suck for the kid. That could be really bad for the kid, depending on what the issues are at home. But why are you telling other parents what their kids should read? Because kids are different. Some have different, more advanced reading levels. Some are more mature when it comes to certain ideas. That's for the parent to decide, not for other parents to decide on their behalf because they're a parent, they must know what all kids need and what all parents should be doing. Not how this works. All right. In Llano, 7 library patrons filed a federal lawsuit in 2022 over the removal of 17 books. The lawsuit has been scheduled to go before a trial jury last October, but was put on hold pending the Fifth Circuit's decision. It will apparently now proceed. In March 2023, U.S. District Judge Robert Pittman issued a preliminary injunction ordering that all the books be returned to shelves, which they were. Then in April 2023, the Llano County Commissioners briefly considered simply closing all library branches in the county amid the fight, though ultimately they kept the libraries open. Right, because, there are ideas we don't like, so nobody should be able to share any ideas because, we're petulant children. I didn't see the reasoning for the judge who dissented. I think that if you're going to challenge a book, I don't care what the book is, you have to read it cover to cover and give a full book report about what the book is about. Because too often, there are actually websites dedicated to this, where they take certain quotes to show that this is a bad book. that this isn't a book that children should read, and parents just parrot it at school board meetings. Just these quotes, without any context and without any evidence to show that they've actually know what the book is about. They just know these quotes. And, it's completely crazy that all you need to do is see a quote out of context. Because if that's the case, why is the Bible still allowed in schools? Because I'm sure a lot of the same stuff that these people have a problem with are in the Bible. But you never hear about that. Last time I actually heard a mainstream program talk about that was Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. So yeah, it's been a minute since those dots were connected. But anyway, let us continue. Weiner, in the Fifth Circuit's majority opinion, wrote that the plaintiffs in the lawsuit have demonstrated a likelihood of success on the merits of their First Amendment claim, as they should. And for that reason, he agreed that the lower court's injunction to return all books. Lawyers for the defendants in the lawsuit, which includes the county commissioners, library officials, and the county judge, the chief elected official at the county level, did not immediately reply to a request for comment. The defense can ask that the entire Fifth Circuit hear their case and ask that the U.S. Supreme Court hear it. So that is the end of that article. So hopefully this lawsuit goes through and that their challenge is accepted, because, again, I'm sure most, if not all, of these requests to have these books banned, regardless of the reason, are by people who never read the damn book. Actually, the people who are trying to keep the judges that are keeping other books off the shelves pending the result of the lawsuit, I question if they read the book. So, yeah. So, it'll be interesting to see what becomes of this lawsuit. Hopefully, the rest of the books are put back on the shelves, because this is just stupid. Again, you don't want to read certain materials, you don't want your kids to read certain materials, fine. Don't tell other parents what they can and cannot allow their children to read, because you don't know where they are in life. They could be in an advanced reading level, like I said. They could be ready for more mature concepts. And it's only their own parents who can make that decision, usually. And then, of course, we have the problem of, parents who are all-around bigots, who, because they don't like black people, there was that school in Baraboo where a parent pushed the black superintendent out of the way so he wouldn't touch his daughter's hand when shaking it to congratulate her for graduating. And this poor girl is looking, completely uncomfortable. Like, what the hell is happening? What do I do now? And I'm sure that she's not thrilled with her father. And last I heard about that is that the superintendent wants to take out a restraining order on the father, as well he should, because what the hell, dude? Great, you're racist as fuck. That doesn't mean other people, including your own kid, is. And that is one problem, that if he doesn't want her to associate with black people while she was growing up, as much as that would suck, she's stuck. Now that she's on her own, her father can take a flying leap if she is in a position where she can take care of herself. So, yes, as much as it sucks for those kids who have racist parents or transphobic or homophobic parents, and the kid might be either trans, think they're trans, think they may be gay, whatever. Obviously, it sucks to be them, and I would love it if they could have an adult in their life that accepted them. But it is, unfortunately, if the parent gets wind of certain books, yeah, they unfortunately have the final say. Unless the kids, which they're usually good at doing, sneak the books out. Like, go to a ally's house and read the books there. Because how the hell will the parent know? So there are ways around it. However, but these are the parents that seem to think that because they are all around bigots, they think everybody should be. And they don't want any kid to read about this because they must really feel insecure about their beliefs. Because why else would you want to stop other people from reading these books? That's great that you don't want to read a certain book. You don't want your kids to read a certain book because, again, you're a terrible person and probably a terrible parent. But where'd you get off telling other people that how to parent their kids? I mean, it's just, yeah. It just says that you do not feel comfortable in who you are and what you claim to believe, because if you were, you wouldn't care if other people were to read, I don't know, Mein Kampf or the Protocols of the Elders of Zion or something anti-racist, because you feel you're comfortable enough in your own skin that you don't feel like everybody else should agree with you. That people should be exposed to other ideas. It's only those who are insecure about their ideas that they end up going after other, these ideas in general. Because you don't like something and you're so scared that you could be wrong about this, that you decide nobody should learn about it, because then you can be safe in the knowledge that this doesn't have to worry about haunting you, because nobody's going to learn about it anyway. Because obviously, if people don't learn about racism or learn about homosexuality or transgenders, that somehow they won't become that they'll remain bigoted because they don't know any better. I mean, I honestly do not know what they think that's going to happen. People are going to come upon different races. They're going to be curious. People are going to come upon, or they themselves might be gay, might be trans, and depriving them of learning about it isn't going to change that. I have mentioned many, many times I was only exposed growing up, even in sex ed, to talking about straight couples. I'm still asexual. that didn't do anything to influence my sexuality. It doesn't. So how is learning about other sexualities going to influence anything? It's going to show those people who already are questioning their sexuality that they're perfectly fine, that there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, all these people are doing is making it harder for those who are questioning to get the information they need. Hell, some of the books that I don't know about this particular instance, but some of the books that were banned are books about how to deal with your period. You know, how about girls going through puberty. Seriously, what's wrong with that? Girls should know what to expect when they're going through puberty. Because unless you're trans, learning about what's going to happen will make it easier for you to not freak out when girls get their periods. Because that is not something you expect, and then all of a sudden you're bleeding. And if you're don't understand that that's a part of becoming a woman, you might freak out. There's nothing wrong with learning about that. Nothing wrong about learning how to deal with your periods or things that could go wrong, like having period cramps from hell, which shows that you actually have endometriosis. Again, nothing wrong to learn about. Why books like that are being singled out as well? Not a clue. But then again, even though I know who is singling out books on race, books on sexuality, books on transgender, even though I know it's still stupid. But I can't figure out why someone would want to keep people from learning about puberty. I mean, that's something everybody goes through, except if you're trans, you put yourself in a position to go through the correct puberty. But other than that, why? Is this sort of like people who, yes, I'm going off on tangent. Is this like some people who think that pronouns are only being used when trans people use them? Otherwise, people don't use pronouns, which is weird because everybody does. I have no idea what these people are on about. Anyway, I've rambled and ranted enough on this video, so with that, I will see you guys in the next one.